I just want to, and maybe I'll just ask these questions at once, and hopefully the guys who are in charge of student accommodation can help with this information. Because you see, Prof, another thing that is going to cause a huge student protest nationally is this issue of the top-up. If you check now, CPUT is banning. The same is going to happen in other parts of the country. And the reason why this issue of a top-up is an issue is because of the pressures at the university levels. Universities are starting to say, even if you are an NSFAS student, if you have got debt as a result of NSFAS not being able to pay that top-up, let's say it was 500, but then obviously it accumulates, those students are not going to be able to register in the following year. And then those who need to graduate are not going to be able to graduate. Now, what we want to demonstrate here, Prof, is that the continued functioning of these 4 middlemen companies. I heard you did say that NSFAS has now brought this in-house, but the fact of the matter is that they are still performing some functions on behalf of NSFAS. And there is money that is leaking out of the system as a result of these 4 companies. And what I need the accommodation guys to demonstrate to us very quickly tonight or this morning is that if we were to cut out these leakages, we'll actually find that there's a lot more money in the system that we can use not only to close these other funding gaps, but even to fund more students at the NSFAS. So my questions are simple. The fact is, typically on private accommodation, how much does NSFAS spend annually? How much nominally, based on the percentage that you have to give to these 4 middlemen companies, how much are we giving to them on an annual basis? And then how much have we paid them to date? And it is those numbers that are going to demonstrate to us that a lot of the problems that we're experiencing are actually man-made. And if NSFAS, if the administrator is, the prof, is to attempt to win us back, Chair, I think is to be extremely decisive on this issue of the so-called middleman companies. Minister of Finance has come out to say he doesn't understand what is their role, because NSFAS itself is an intermediary. So why do you have an intermediary of an intermediary? So I just wanted the student accommodation people to just clarify those aspects to us. How much have we paid these guys to date? Number 2, how much do we project to spend on private student accommodation that is still being run by the 4 middlemen companies annually? And then number 3, how much is going to go to these guys based on the percentage that NSFAS is spending on them? I just wanted that breakdown, because there was some people are saying, no, these people are no longer getting money, they are no longer there, and I think we need to debunk those myths. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, so to answer your question, the solution partners get 4% of the amount that's released to accommodation providers, the successful payments. A file can be sent for payment, and not all the payments are successful, so they will only be paid 4% on the amount that's successfully paid out. At a high level, for 2024, paid out to solution partners was 146 million. For 2025, 267 million. And to date, for 2026, it's 146 million that has been paid to the 4 solution partners across TVETs and universities for the disbursement of accommodation. So prior to 2026, they were responsible for directly paying accommodation providers, but from 2026 onwards, that function has been brought in-house. But for the use of their system and the other functions that they perform, they are still paid their 4%.
And maybe if you were to explain to South Africans as if they are 1-year-olds, what are they doing, these guys? Like what, for these millions, 267, 100 and what million, if you were to explain to an ordinary person that, what is the job of this person? How would you simplify it?
So if you're a student and you're looking for a place to stay and accredited accommodation, you'd log on to the Solution Partners portal for the province that you stay in, and you'll go on and apply for a residence to stay in based on the pictures that you see and whichever one is close to your campus of study. And if you a person who wants to be an accommodation provider, then you would log on to the same portal to go and register yourself and upload your property so that you can become an accredited accommodation provider.
Okay, so the providers, when they upload their accommodation, they don't pay.
They don't pay when they upload, but they would pay at the end of that process because they'd need to be accredited by one of the accreditation agents. So based on the number of bids that they're applying for, they would then make a payment for an accreditor to come out and assess their property.
So this accreditation, they pay for it every month.
No, they pay for it once off.
And how much is it?
It's based on the number of bids.
How much is it per bed?
I think it's about 100, and there's a difference. If it's 0 to 10 bids, it's a certain amount, 10 to 50, and then I think if it's over 100, there's different amounts.
How many beds are there in that system?
There's 367,000 bids across the 4 solution partners for universities and TVETs.
So it's 300 and something times 100 rands.
At an average, yes.
So there are those who are above 100 rands.
No, the maximum amount is 100 rand, but they can work on an average of 100 at your 367,000 bids.
So maybe it's about 3.67 billion
To date.
that should be paid by the provider, or should have been paid for by the provider once off.
Yes, that's correct.
And because it's 100 rand. And then the students will then use that system for free.
Well, the student will log on to the Solution Partners portal. The payment of the accreditation of the bids and the usage of the portal is there's 2 different contracts. So
Yeah.
from your 367,000 bids that were accredited at 100 rand, there's still payments made to accreditation agents and Solution Partner.
Yeah, so you see, members, I want us, you see, maybe we must bring this matter back and bring the solution partners to come with NSFAS. And NSFAS, I want you to go now. Go look at the advert. Because we had asked in the 6th Parliament, NSFAS must go challenge this thing in court. Because the contracting of this thing was irregular, was illegal, was criminal. You contracted people on something that was not advertised. You said you want a marketplace. Like I've told you, I've been in this committee for a while. And Yusuf, when you left, I came in. So this is how long I've been here. You advertised for a marketplace. Build me something, and it will be self-sufficient. This is how it was sold even here in Parliament. And it will be at no cost to NSFAS. That's what it was said. At no cost to NSFAS. Right? These people will build it, and every person who once off, who brings in their thing, their beds, they put it on the system. Those are the only people who pay. Right? Then there was another group, 80-something people. Many of them very unethical because they went and accredited Zozo, kore nothing. Those ones I'm still kore angry at them, those unethical people. I was called by a group of white Afrikaner accommodation providers in Vanderbijl Park, who told me that this one and this one and this one, they are scheming us money. They say they are working with this person from NSFAS. I reported them to NSFAS and I told them, these ones must be arrested. So those ones, very unethical. Right? So the people who are accrediting were different. I'm not tamsaking, I'm telling you. We brought NSFAS in the committee and I told them that these ones, they are going to go to jail, and as they must, because they are creating a problem, right? One contracting came of this marketplace arrangement. You then include something that was not advertised. You say, you are actually going to administer payments to these people. We are going to pay you, and this is where the 5% come in. It was not there on the original advert. And that's why I want you to go, when we come and deal with this matter, we deal with it once and for all. Because we ask that you go to court to nullify that contract, SLA that you signed, of 5%, you will get, so they will collect invoices. Even me, I can do it most. They go collect invoices, they bring invoices to you, you pay me, I take 5%, I give to them, I leave 1% for you. Such an easy money. If you wanted to do that, you should have advertised it like that. You don't. You advertise something, you say marketplace, hosting system. And then when you contract people to disperse money. Some of these people, they still have accommodation. There's a lady in KZ, and I remember she called me crying, lost her 86 or 82 beds because a person was not paying them. Was not paying them. When we inquired with NSFAS, NSFAS said, this person we've been paying. So these people, they take this money, they, for interest's sake, they put it somewhere, want to be greedy. For money they are not really working for. So when Honorable Lonzi was saying, make it make sense, what is it that you are paying for? We're asking you this question, we know. The reason we call them middlemen is because they collect invoices, they submit on one part. Then there's the hosting issue. And this hosting issue has got the grading, as we are saying, of grade A, grade B, grade C, whatever the case may be. Where some of the institutions like CPUT refuse to play on it, refuse to participate in this thing. Because including them, we must enter these people. Gori, what told, you spoke about the top-ups. It's a big problem. We've called the colloquium on the 28th. What we'll be doing there is what NSFAS should have done long time. We've even brought the Competition Commission in that meeting. Because you spoke about it again earlier, that maybe the estate life in Cape Town is too expensive. I refuse. I refuse. In 2023, they would have had here, what is that thing? Observatory. UCT would have been charging our people 7,000, same street. And CPUT was charging about 3,000 something. But because we're complaining about this one, they do price collusion. These ones, the following year, they go up so high, CPUT. So you can tell this thing is, it's not right. So we've called that meeting to deal with what we believe is price fixing, but also to address, if we say NSFAS, by the way, there was a point you spoke about us paying for everybody to stay in rest. For me, that's not even a problem. The problem is unregulated fees of these residences. In some instances, we pay, or these people want us to pay 9,000 per bed. And in some instances, same town, we pay 4,000. So that is another matter that you must deal with. You, Okay.
Oh, thanks, Chair. So I wanted to perhaps request the intervention of the administrator and the head of student accommodation. NSFAS had admitted that most of these unethical people that you are referring to, Chair, would have accredited accommodation that is not in line with the norms and standards of NSFAS. Yet the leases remain binding. So we've had many instances where students want to then cancel these leases, but they can't. So they're stuck in accommodation that is equally not in line with the norms and standards, but because of the obligation, they can't then cut these leases. So we'd want a system that, at least in the meantime, is flexible for students to be able to either be able to terminate and get to another NSFAS accredited accommodation, or however they could be assisted, because as things stand, the system is very rigid.
Yeah, it will be an excuse in law that you can't get out of a lease that was signed under the pretext that it satisfies the norms and standards. And if it does not, the argument is that you can't get out. It's a fallacy. It's our people from NSFAS who don't want to cancel those things. In fact, if you come across those ones, let's write them down. Let's take them to the administrator, because our kids can't be forced to stay in unconducive or non-conducive accommodation on the basis that we have signed leases. We have signed leases with them on the basis that they meet the minimum norms and standards. They've got security, they've got Wi-Fi, warm water, they've got a table, electricity. If those things are not there, you can't tell me that lease is binding. It's binding for who? Because we've signed a lease that satisfies these things. If those things are no longer there, then you take out, it's like a marriage and divorce. I marry you for this. If all of a sudden you no longer satisfy what we have agreed on, divorce. So there's no such, if in law, there's no such. And that is why, by the way, the practical example, it was that thing of Oval at UKZN. The problem with that is that there were people internally at UKZN who signed a contract that was hurting the university beyond, because the university is now supposed to pay for something they did not buy. So those issues, I don't want them to answer. Those issues, we must write them down. Those names, we'll give it to them to go remove. Students must also not, because students are also naughty. They sign a lease of accredited that pays 4.5 or 5.2. Then they want to move to unaccredited, still want to be paid 5.2. Just move from this one and then go pay 2,000 so that they take the rest. So we must also warn them that is fraud. You can't, that will be defraud in NSFAS. And Lebanon will treat them like criminals once they start behaving like criminals. Honorable Lonzi,
No, no, I accept your ruling, Chair, that because of time we can deal with this matter another day. I just wanted us to differentiate between a committee meeting where we're going to call all these middlemen together with NSFAS and the colloquium, because unless I'm misunderstanding it, but a colloquium doesn't sound like a parliamentary sitting. It's almost
it
like
is.
an imbizo. So people can say whatever there, you can't really charge them for pejari and all of those things. So for this meeting specifically, I was just saying, Chair, let's not say we'll see them at the colloquium. If you can apply it through the chair of chairs or the speaker, and we have a special day where we deal with the middleman schemes at the NSFAS. And then, Prof, if you want to win our hearts, we've given you the formula.
The colloquium is a very serious meeting of parliament. So no one will come there and just say anything and there's no consequences. Yeah, it's not an imbizo. I know it's election time, therefore you are busy with imbizos. So we are going to have these two meetings. But the colloquium, so the colloquium will start it as a colloquium on day one, which is the 28th. And because there's too many presentations there, we may not have enough time to speak. We'll just absorb, and then we'll do, obviously we'll bring the proposal here, we'll do an inquiry on student accommodation where we apply to Parliament to have a 3-day or 4-day inquiry. Different days, maybe can run through a month, where we are now interrogating the presentation of these institutions and conclude with the recommendations that will take to Parliament and ultimately take to the President to enforce, because especially on this issue of, I saw the students who, after meeting certain providers, accommodation providers, they say no, scrap the cap, give universities and accommodation providers a blank check to decide how much they want to charge, which is a very dangerous thing that is going to cripple not only NSFAS or student accommodation, it's going to cripple higher education. In 3 years, if we do that, in 3 years, you will be forced to pay 20,000 for a bed. And these students won't be there. And they don't seem to understand that particular point. And then the meeting with NSFAS and solution providers, honorable loans, is a separate matter. It's something that we might need to, because of the period now, we might need to do it virtually, maybe as a first meeting. But they must explain, NSFAS and them, they must explain what is it that they do, what is it that they are paid for, and all of those things. And then we'll enter into, we had asked NSFAS to go to court. The allegation that the initial court said go and settle or something like that, and they are demanding 1 billion from NSFAS. This is what we are being told, Prof. They are demanding 1 billion, and NSFAS is thinking or considering agreeing to that request. I don't know where you are going to get it. When already you have 15 billion in that you wanted to say something before we close?
Yeah, you mentioned something about legal. There is a legal review for the termination of the solution partner contracts. It is sitting at that stage. So just to add, it has something that's been considered, and the SIU has also investigated the termination of the solution partner contracts.
Yeah.